Howdy y'all, Joe Hills here, recording as I always do in Nashville, Tennessee, and today on the Hermitcraft server, as you can tell, I have actually started work on this beautiful little place here. Whoa, got that cinematic camera locked on, not ideal, but you know what, we're not here to make movies, we're here to be groovy. We're here to find grooves in the earth and fill them in. I don't know if the earth is the name of this planet in Minecraft, or on Hermitcraft. I should really ask if anyone else knows what the name of the planet we play on is. That would be really... Is this planet Hermitcraft? Or is it like... It's probably named something like Diorite World or something, and I just didn't realize it. Anyway, we got some extra dirt here for kind of filling in some of these gaps. I'm sure people will want to eventually claim some of this land for themselves, but in the meantime, it's up to me to actually like fortify it and make it safe before we start, breaking down these walls and whatnot here. So, one of the biggest threats is going to be this little valley here. I can start kind of swinging through here and filling in some of this with dirt. We can let some grass grow and what have you. That's a good start. That's a reasonable way to express our dissatisfaction with this kind of general I was going to say abscess into the earth, but it might be more of an incision. I don't know. There's no time for indecision. We can't choose our words wisely, so we might as well choose them fast. We don't want to be first. We might as well be last. No, blast. I need to place these dirt so that they can grow grass. Hey, we brought that back around. I was trying to figure out how to get that to chloroplasts, and then grass was right there. Sometimes, when you're just kind of making things up as you go, things make themselves up for you. And that is terrifying. That is objectively probably how you get weird, beautiful minds type scenarios. So, not ideal. Let's try to be more conscious about what we do this episode so we don't accidentally become insane mathematicians or whatever that guy was. I haven't seen that movie for a long time. I remember he flipped over a Go board. He was very mad about the game Go. Very, very mad. But you know what? That's fine. I'm not here to be angry at games. I'm here to have fun playing games. I hope you guys are too. It's funny. I got a lot of comments on one of my recent videos about like, Joe, don't you know how ender chests work and stuff like that? And I want to tell you a little story. So, I've got a 6-year-old daughter. Somehow, I think it's maybe because of the Mumbo Jumbo videos or something. I've gotten an influx of new viewers lately. And I've got a 6-year-old daughter, which you guys who have been watching for a long time all know. But those of you who don't know her. But she exists. She's real. I have her. And she said to me one day that she's very silly and I'm not. And I'm like, what? I think I'm pretty silly. Like, objectively, I think I'm like one of the silliest adults possible who can still hold down a job. Like, it would be very hard to be much more silly than I am and still be capable of, like, holding down a job, showing up and not being fired for being a crazy person. But anyway, my daughter was just like, no, I'm silly and you're not silly. And I'm like, what? And so then I was just like, I decided to just try and, lean into this. And so I just laid on the ground and I'm like, oh no, I'm sad now because I'm not silly and no one will laugh at me. And I didn't really believe that, guys. Don't leave comments going, Joe, we believe in you, you're silly. No, I know that. I'm an adult. But I'm just playing along with her. And she's just like, Daddy, don't worry. I'll teach you how to be funny. I'll teach you how to say fart. And I'll teach you to point at a thing when you know what it is and say, what is this? And I don't really think it's that funny to make a bunch of fart jokes in my videos. This might actually be the first time the word fart has appeared in a single Joe Hills video ever. You guys can check the transcripts. But anyway, yes, if I see a sculpture of one of my friends claiming, making a joke, calling it by the name of a different friend is humor in that vein, If I see an ender chest and I complain, oh no, somebody stole my things and put them in this chest in their house, I'm going to have to get them back later. I know it's an ender chest, guys. Like, I don't want to ruin your suspension of disbelief, too. You know what makes me sad is maybe there are Joe Hills fans out there who really just think I am that dumb. And I'm sorry. Like, Yeah, it's okay. I'm just here to have fun, and I hope you guys are here to have fun too. If you guys are here looking for super serious stuff, I'm far too serious when it is not at all called for, and I'm far too silly when it is a poor time for that as well. I do what I can, where I can. So we've already got this partially lit here, but I'm realizing torches are going to be an element that we need to, I don't know, break down into smaller parts. No, we want to do the opposite of that. We want to take the elements of these torches and form molecules. And ideally, we want them to be incandescent in such a way that while we talk about their incandescence, their brightness, and their warmth, we can think of a word for either brightness or warmth or smoke generation that rhymes with mala, or with cules, so then we could make a pun turning molecules into whatever that would be. I have not done that in time. My episodes are generally kind of free form because I have a lot on my plate. I have a day job. Some people ask, Joe, how did you get on Hermitcraft? You don't do these like insane 25-hour builds. Guys, I love those. My friends make awesome stuff, and I'm so lucky to be a part of a group that has that sort of time in general. But when I was invited to join Hermitcraft, it was 5 weeks old, and almost nobody was doing it full time. And because of the nature of the healthcare system in the United States and the fact that I'm supporting my family, I have not had the opportunity that some of my friends have had to make the leap into doing YouTube full time. So it's like, man, this episode is 20 minutes of Joe just talking while he's placing torches. Yes, that is true. But you know what? Even though I can't spend 8 hours a day or 10 hours a day building some of the amazing things my friends do, I can still bring a little bit of joy into the hearts of those who, watch this, and maybe this is all they're looking for. Maybe they're just like, I want to watch a guy put down torches while he does a bad job of telling stories about his kid. And I'll be like, well, guys, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but I didn't think I did that bad a job telling the story. But I don't know. It's fine. We're just having fun. That's, I'm here playing Minecraft the way a lot of y'all play Minecraft. A little, an hour or two at night after the kids go to sleep. Or for some of you kids, an hour or two in the evening after you get your homework done. Also, do your homework. Learn stuff. I don't know. My daughter doesn't have homework yet, so I'm going to use all my dad lecturing on you guys. Don't fail out of school. I believe in you. Anyway, so we have this generally well lit now, and I think it's probably ready for us to start some basic construction. I'm kind of nervous about knocking this wall down without having a second hermit inspect it. We might see if anybody else wants to swing by and give it a look-see. But I talked to Scar yesterday about wall expansion off camera, and he's just like, I fell asleep in that meeting. So I might need to talk to somebody who actually was awake and speaking during that meeting. I was on an airplane because, unfortunately, like I said, I had a lot to do. So anyway, let's go do some of that now. Time! Welcome back. As you can see, our sign is here indicating the future home of At Joe Hills' Poetry Hut. But that's not all. I removed some of this dirt in this area, and then I removed some of this wall in this area. I put in a little fence gate here. Thought, maybe what we could do is get a shovel and kind of, hew out a bit of a path that kind of connects to the main path over here somehow. Haven't exactly worked out what that looks like, but I think that kind of indicates a general sense of, hey guys, come this way. I'm hoping that some of the other hermits might want to use this expanded area because I don't necessarily need all this space to myself, but it seemed like when I talked to Rendog about it, he's like, don't just make the wall expansion big enough for one building, don't just make a little square. So I didn't want to. I wanted to make a cool shape, and I thought, you know what, maybe it'd be neat if these old walls still maintain some sort of boundarial function, and still, the walkway was still here, but what if we had these little fences here? Now, once we are sure that this whole area is pillager-proof, I'm hoping to remove those little cobblestone walls and just have these be open arches that people can walk through entirely. but the pillager code is still so heavily in flux. I don't want to risk just leaving something like that open and having these chunks over here not be considered village chunks, and then the pillagers spawn, and then they run through the village on a rampage. That's no good. So, at least for the next day or two... Oh no, where did all those go? There we go. Cobblestone walls. We've got some cobblestone walls here to keep the pillagers at bay. So, I think this is a good compromise between just completely demolishing the wall and... Because, like, Ren worked hard on this, and I want to celebrate that rather than demolishing that. You know? Normal cities, when they grow, portions of walls will be taken down as things expand. You know, maybe part of this will end up incorporated into a building somehow. Haven't figured all that out yet, but I think it's a neat way to link the pathways as well, and to give people, like, more places to stand up atop and shoot down from. Like, you know, one thing that we are kind of missing right now with the way I've got this laid out is I don't have a ton of places where we have just a ladder straight up the wall because of just the general shape of things. It didn't fit as naturally as what Ren had. But let's come up here real quick. As you guys can see, like, this path here can just naturally kind of fork. If there was some sort of attack on the village, somebody runs this way, somebody else runs that way. It's dramatic. It's exciting, you know, it's invigorating. I think it would really add a lot. So, you know, this is a good way to do this. And like I said, I don't need this whole space just for me. So, hopefully, now that we've kind of figured out roughly what we're doing, other folks will be coming in and settle in here and there. So, I figure I'm going to go ahead and start working on the foundation for my first building here. Because of the way I'm putting this gate in and this path, kind of makes me think that I don't want to have the building... Maybe I don't want to have it right here, as I had originally planned, because that's kind of close to the wall and to the path. Maybe we put it here, or maybe it would be more interesting further down where we can see through these arches some. Like having my building at the bottom here could be more visually interesting in some ways. I don't know. We're just going to have to mess with it. But, uh-oh, sun's setting. Better get out of here before all the mobs spawn. Time skip. C is for carrot. That's good enough for me. P is for parrot. They also like the sea. They hang out with pirates, but I don't rate them highly. Anyway, some pillagers arrived while I was working on my first little hut there. So I had to escape quickly before they could, like, actually attack the village. Basically, the standard operating procedure is, if you don't know how to deal with the pillagers, leave them alone. So instead, I've returned here to the spawn chunks to work on our Parthenon some more. If you can tell, I've been doing a mirror image of the walls underneath here. This has been a good way to kill an hour and a half or so of hanging out with folks. But realistically, it's not how I wanted to end this episode. I wanted to end this episode with a successful plot of land, you know, constructed. But you know what? We don't always get to choose what we want to do when we're trying to build things with others. In the meantime, I feel like this is going to make this just kind of feel less like it completely projects out of the sea. It'll kind of have, especially once we get the pillars in. I'm just going to have to keep collecting glass, and I'm going to have to keep collecting bones. In the same way that I need to get more diamonds from underneath the stones. I was really hoping to create a mine at the end of this episode too, where I would, you know, hide deep below the new spawn area and, you know, hopefully be able to recoup some diamonds. But realistically, now that I'm looking at this kind of pillager situation, it's becoming clear that I need to have an alternate plan for where to put a mine. But I do still have 42 ladders. So I figure I might as well just start heading kind of generally toward that direction, but maybe fly a little ways away from the village before the pillagers can get down from Asuma's church roof, and then start mining in that next episode. You know, there's always another episode coming, guys. Or so I would like to believe. And I've gone the wrong way. That's not a metaphor. That's just factually I've gone the wrong way. So... until next time, y'all, this is Joe Hills from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep adventuring.